Thank you very kindly, the Marshall Municipal Band, concert number 2 of our 101st season. I can never remember which way I'm supposed to say that one. Okay, we're up here and we turned on the air conditioning tonight and picked up the fan a little bit to keep the bugs away, so how else can you beat that? Okay, that first march, I was told just before the concert that we have guests here from Germany. We have a family that lived over there and used to be in town and married and so on, but that family's brother is here from Germany visiting, and how appropriate the first march that we just got done playing. I did not know that. The march that we just played was San Philip Sousa's Hands Across the Sea. Now, is that something else or what? I couldn't, you couldn't plan that any differently, and it wasn't even planned. Okay, we will have our kids march later on. Again, the suckers are fresh. They may have cut out some of the flavors. I think we've noticed that they're getting chintzier on how many different flavors there are, so we'll see how that works out. Okay, we'll have our, as I said, the kids march coming up. We got pop tunes. We have another Percy Granger number coming up. I don't usually do a number one week and then come right back and play that same tune a second week, but this is a kind of a unique situation. Last week the men's chorus sang I Don Quixote, or the Man of La Mancha theme, and we have a long time ago a set of medleys out of the musical Man of La Mancha with Robert Goulet. My wife and I were fortunate enough to be at one of Robert Goulet's last performances of that at the Ordway some years ago in St. Paul, and so I wanted to bring back this particular set of music, which includes Man of La Mancha, but it has other ones that are equally as famous. The first tune you will hear in here is Little Bird, and then Dulcinea, and then comes I Don Quixote, or the Man of La Mancha, and then it finishes with the other very big tune called The Impossible Dream, all written by Mitch Lay and Joe Darian, arranged by Frank Erickson, all music from Man of La Mancha. Impossible Dream, yeah, right. Little Bird, Dulcinea, I, Don Quixote, and The Impossible Dream. Mitchell A. Joe Darian. Okay, 2 days from now we have a holiday. We have another one. It's Flag Day, June 14th. We're on the 12th tonight, so we've been traditional that the Marshall Municipal Band do some number that talks about our national anthem, and we sometimes Your Grand Old Flag and all that sort of thing. Tonight we're going to do E. Bagley's National Emblem March. Now, if that piece of music were written today, it would be illegal. The laws were passed in 1931, which said that our national anthem must be played in its entirety, never put as part of a medley. Don't play a fragment of it, things like that. But National Emblem March, if you will listen to the first strain, our national anthem is in 3 beats. It's a waltz tempo thing, but marches are in 2. So, yum da dum 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 dee da da. You'll hear our national anthem melody in that particular thing. So this march got grandfathered in as a legitimate march, and we're going to use it tonight. National Emblem March, E. Bagley, in honor of Flag Day, 2 days from now, Friday. we pride ourselves in the band for playing many different varieties of pieces, and now we're going to go off and do something written by Duke Ellington and a cohort of his, Swan Teasall. It's called Caravan, and it's a familiar tune, an old-time jazz tune, or big band sound. Duke Ellington's Caravan is coming up next.
And I too conduct the choirs at Holy Redeemer School, and our choirs and bands are going to Chicago in April. So we're going to try to every Wednesday have some treats in the back for a free will donation. So we have bars and cookies, freezies, not really warm out, but if you like a freezie, and bottles of water. So there's a couple boys in the back selling treats if you would like to support our Holy Redeemer School bands and choirs on our way to Chicago in April. Thank you.
Okay, Little Duke Ellington. Never hurts anybody. Caravan. Very familiar tune by the Duke. Okay, we're going to do a somewhat classical piece of music, and yet it's sometimes thought of as a jazz piece. Paul Yoder was a very early American composer who made either arrangements from classical pieces of music for early bands or wrote a lot of pieces on his own. And this one's called Rush Street Tarantella. I've used it many times, but just in case there's somebody not here, I'll do a quick version. The Tarantella is an Italian dance that was generated by people who thought that if you got bitten by a tarantula, that somehow if you had enough music and exciting and get your body to want to get out and move, that it would somehow repair those nerves that were deadened or dulled by the tarantula bite. And so that there is a medical term. And it's written in fast 6/8, and the 6 is because insects, of course, have 6 legs. So that's how the tarantula or the tarantella comes along. And he calls this Rush Street. So that's either down south or in Chicago, I think. Rush Street Tarantella by Paul Yoder. piece of music, Rush Street Tarantella. Okay, we're going to go from this, from the excitement of trying to get out and move after you've been bitten by a tarantula to a relatively slow tune. And I looked that up last night on the music, and this one was first published in 1855. So I don't know if that makes this a classic. It's from Ireland. We played a Percy Grainger last week by Banks and Braze. This is also by him. An Australian with British background, came to Gustavus and spent some time there with their band. And this is called Irish Tune from County Derry. That's all I'm going to say for now, okay? Irish Tune from County Derry. Boys and girls, 4th grade and under, our kids' march is right after this slow tune. So boys and girls, go around the swings, and everybody else here, come on over and get ready for the kids' march. Irish tune from County Derry. Anybody else know the other title? Danny Boy, right? Once in a while, I like to play a piece for the band. They love to get into this stuff. And these are great arrangements by, this one was by Percy Granger, Irish tune from County Derry. Okay, we are at our Kids March for the evening, and we're pretty much on schedule. John Philip Sousa, we had his march earlier, so we got that out of the way. This one is by Edwin Franco Goldman. I was fortunate enough in 1954 in Chicago at the Midwest National Band Clinic, I got to meet this gentleman, Edwin Franco Goldman. He was in his later years. Richard Franco took over for his band, but at the time the Sousa band shut down, the Goldman band kind of started up. This is a march written by Edwin Franco Goldman. He wrote a number of them. We'll do another one at the end of the program. This one is called Chimes of Liberty March. And boys and girls, just around the park benches. Don't go all the way out there by the street. We wouldn't want you, we'll have to play forever up here otherwise. So, Chimes of Liberty March, Edwin Franco Goldman, our weekly Kids March. Okay, that was Chimes of Liberty March. Suckers, make sure you put the wrappers away. And like I said, sorry for the less flavors. They just come that way. So there have been years where we've had to really go scratch to find even the safety pop suckers. I don't understand why they don't keep them coming, but we found them this year. Okay, we're going to go into pop tune mode right now. Glenn Campbell, I believe, is the person who made this thing famous. Written by Larry Weiss, and it's called Rhinestone Cowboy. Okay, Rhinestone Cowboy. Starts out slow, but we pick it up a little bit in the middle and move it out. Kind of has a rock feel. Okay, we're missing one piece so far, and we're going to do that right now. Henry Fillmore wrote 15 trombone smears. One of the most famous is Lass's Trombone. That'll come up later in the season. I've got it scheduled already. It just isn't known yet. Come to our 4th of July concert. I think that we'll have it on that one. Okay, but this one is Miss Trombone. There's ham trombone, boss, Bowens, all kinds of names that he gave them, but this is Miss Trombone. So we're going to feature our trombone section with our weekly trombone feature, Miss Trombone by Henry Fillmore. Okay, that was the Miss Trombone by Henry Fillmore. Thank you, trombone section. We've added somebody other than, oh yes, I should have them stand up, for heaven's sakes. I was a little late in that. Stand up, trombones. That's not one of the more familiar ones. However, a lot of this stuff came in music that was that size, and this one came in this size. So when I saw it, I bought it, and so we're trying to get the library into those of us that are a little older. We don't read the little notes all that well anymore. So when I find a big arrangement, we do that. Miss Trombone, Henry Fillmore. Okay, it has been traditional long before I was a member of this band and even directing that toward the end of the concert we do a sacred song, and this is no exception. We keep that in the mix. James Ployhar did the arrangement on this German chorale. Oh, that's German. Okay, there we go again. How about that? Our friends from Germany. It's in most of our hymn books. James Ployhar was a junior high band director at Fargo North Junior High in Fargo, North Dakota. And he also was an early writer in middle years during my time. Many arrangements and a lot of original music that he wrote for bands that is very playable, very good, and very, very good sounding. This one is called Praise to the Lord the Almighty. That's the hymn tune, and we do a variation on it and play all around it. So it's called Praise to the Lord by James Ployhar. That's nice work by Mr. Ployhar, isn't it? And how about the band? Give them a hand. They just tomorrow. This is only our second week. We haven't seen each other since middle of July, so for us to come down and sit down in 1 hour and read this stuff and play it like that is a credit to that band. I said many times, my baton makes no noise unless I drop it. And it didn't make very much noise at that time. It's pretty light. Praise to the Lord, German chorale arranged by James Ployhar. He does write good stuff, doesn't he? Nice arrangement. Okay, the last march on our concert for this evening is called On Parade March. It's the second number in the program by Edwin Franco Goldman. This particular piece has a very special spot in my heart. For 6 years I marched American Legion Drum and Bugle Corps at Sleepy Eye, if there's anybody from over that way. And they were 13 years undefeated state champions in field drill. I've been to 2 National Legion conventions, 57 and 58. I marched with them for 6 years. In the drum corps we had 2 national solo snare drum champions. And I studied with one of them for 4 years and learned how to do drums back in the late 50s and 1960. I think we ended and disbanded. But one of the pieces we played was On Parade March, the trio. And I still have my bugle, except it's in the key of G and this is written in the key of F, so I couldn't play it in here, but it's a very familiar piece to me. On Parade March, Edwin Franco Goldman.
We can still hear from
Sure.
I had to put my bugle down. It was at the end of the piece. On Parade March, Edwin Franco Goldman. We're at the end of our concert. We have another one scheduled next week. This is the second of 7. So we have, what, that makes 5 more to go, doesn't it? Plus the 4th of July, which we'll go over to Independence Park for that one, of course, weather permitting. Last year it was on the Wednesday. We're supposed to be over there. The grounds were soft. We came back here and played. But this year we'll have a Wednesday night concert on the 3rd and a 4th of July concert over at Independence Park. A few pieces might repeat on those 2 concerts, but for the most part they will be different. So keep that in mind. Okay, and next week we're going to have a special little ceremony. We're going to have a guest conductor for a couple of selections, and my good friend and mentor. No, we'll leave that okay. We'll leave that for next week. Come and see who that is if you don't already know. We'll have a guest conductor next week direct a couple of pieces for us on the Marshall Band. Okay, we're at the end of our road. It's time to go home. I hope the bugs weren't too bad tonight. No, the cold weather takes care of them, doesn't it? We turned on the air. Okay, then would you have a safe trip home? We'll see you next week with new music and the guest conductor. And would you join us now? Please sing along and honor America with our national anthem. Thank you for coming.